It's Friday yet again, so that means it's time for another episode of Sports Corner. I'm Cole Young, and some of the biggest events are going on this week, so let's get started. It's bittersweet, but the March Madness tournament has finally come to an end. Last Saturday, we got two exhilarating games in the Final Four. Well, really one. Kansas took care of business against Villanova, winning 81-65. The Jayhawks jumped out to a big lead early and held Nova in check for the rest of the game. But the other game of this weekend will go down as an all-time classic game. UNC and Duke are fierce rivals, and they put on a show last weekend. Both teams were trading points in a back-and-forth game in front of a crowd of just about 71,000 people. With a little under 4 minutes to go in the game, the score was tied 67-67. The ensuing final minutes of the game were a battle between two very talented teams for a spot in the championship game. When the dust settled, UNC came out on top 81-77. Duke was sent home one game shy of the big game, led by Coach K one final time. UNC didn't have too much time to celebrate the big victory because the championship game would take place just a few days later on Monday night. Speaking of instant classics, this game was one of the best in history. UNC came out in the first half looking very strong. At the end of the first half, the Tar Heels were up big 40-25. They held the momentum heading to the locker room, and it felt like if they kept up what they were doing in the first half, they would take home the trophy in a dominating fashion. But not many people could have predicted what happened in the second half. In sports, momentum is a strange thing. It's not something tangible, but it's a feeling that everyone, fans, players, coaches, can all feel. In the second half, Kansas got hot at the right time. The Jayhawks were down by as many as 16 points, and then the momentum kicked in. Kansas would go on a 12-1 run out of halftime. They could miss no shots, and their defense was stopping essentially everything. Everyone, myself included, can feel the tide beginning to shift. With just a few seconds left in the game, Kansas was leading 72-69. Even when all seemed over, UNC still had a glimmer of hope. Kansas had gone out of bounds after the inbound pass, giving North Carolina possession with just seconds remaining. UNC inbounded the pass, the tying shot was taken as the buzzer sounded, and the ball missed wide left, sealing the victory for Kansas. This game will go down in the record books as this was the single largest comeback in the history of the national championship game. NBA playoffs are now just right around the corner, and if they're even a fraction of what the NCAA tournament was, we're in for some more entertainment. When one door closes, another one opens. The tournament has ended, and it's now time for the Masters, which kicked off yesterday morning. On Tuesday, we learned that Tiger Woods would, in fact, be playing this year. After an injury sustained in a car accident in February of 2021, most people assumed Woods would never swing a club again, and many speculated he might have to amputate his leg. But the man with 5 green jackets is back in Augusta. His weekend's well underway, and Tiger, in a very Kobe Bryant-esque manner, told the media he believes he can win this tournament. The Masters and the MLB season both kicked off yesterday. 9 baseball games took place yesterday, and we'll get 6 more today. The Angels kicked off their home opening series against the Astros yesterday and will continue the games into the weekend. The Dodgers take on the Rockies in Colorado tonight and will play their first home game on April 14th. The Padres also start the season with an away game, taking on the Diamondbacks in Arizona this weekend. If you remember, I've only made one prediction this year, back in January when I claimed the Rams would win the Super Bowl. So, being 100% correct in my predictions so far, I'm hesitant to make any more. But, willing to go out on a limb and say at least 2 of the 3 Southern California teams, Dodgers, Angels, Padres, will make the playoffs this year. It's a long season, but I'll remember to come back and check on this take in the future. We didn't get an F1 race last weekend. This week's race will take place in Australia. Because of the time difference, the race will start at 10 p.m. this Saturday night. But if you'd rather watch a race in person, the Long Beach Grand Prix is on this weekend. The festivities take place today, Saturday, and Sunday, and there's a lot of great stuff going on. Races, car parades, and more will be going on in downtown Long Beach. If you can, head up that way and check out some of the events. As I'm sure you all have noticed by now, the weather is incredible this weekend. The feeling of summer is in the air, and a whole lot of big things are going on in the world of sports this month. So be sure to tune in to Sports Corner every Friday right here on Village Television. I'm Cole Young. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week.